last couple of weeks, presumably, you've been practicing your breathing at home. On your back, knees bent, inhale through the nose, your abdomen expands, exhale through the mouth, your abdomen shrinks. But this is not the most practical position from which to speak. So I'd like to talk about two intermediate steps between laying down and standing that'll help you to eliminate the tension in the upper body required to hold it erect and the weight of the upper body that would cause you to have to lift the chest and the shoulders out of the way to breathe, and allowing you to focus on abdominal breathing. The first position to try is with your head leaning on a chair or bench. On your bended knees, put your arms on that bench and then rest your head on your arms. Allow the weight of your upper body to rest on your arms completely. Relax, and then breathe. In through the nose, your abdomen expands. Out through your mouth, your abdomen shrinks. Practice that repeatedly before trying the next position. Standing with your feet shoulder width, drop your chin to your chest, and then your shoulders, and then roll down your spine until your upper body is hanging. Just hanging there. You can bend your knees slightly to make this easier. To make sure there's no tension in your head and neck, look up, and then allow your head to fall, dangling. Shift your weight from side to side so that your arms swing. That means they're relaxed. Then, you guessed it, breathe. In through the nose, abdomen expands. Out through the mouth, abdomen shrinks. And repeat several times. Then, you can stand back up, rolling back up your spine. So now that we've had a chance to learn how to lay down and breathe properly, and lean on a chair and breathe properly, and maybe squat and breathe properly, and be bent over and breathe properly, how do we stand and breathe properly? How do we find a stance that both minimizes the amount of tension required to maintain balance in our upright position, while also maximizing the amount of room in the chest cavity and the upper body for breath to move freely in and out without having to lift your chest and your shoulders up out of the way? Well, the answer to that is what we call the breath stance. So what I'd like you to do is start with your feet shoulder width apart, just like in previous exercises, all right? And then I'd like you to imagine you have a string attached to the very, very top of your head. We call this the crown, all right? So imagine that string is pulling upward toward the ceiling or the sky. What happens when you sort of pull that string up? Well, what happens is that crown of your head becomes the highest point. The chest is expanded but not puffed out, right? So it's just sort of expanded. And your chin is level with the floor. What you've done is you've made a lot of room in your upper body for breath to move without it weighing down the chest cavity and having to be pushed out of the way. If I take a full breath right now, very little of this moves. This, however, is free to move. Right? The other thing it does when our feet are shoulder width is that it opens up room on the front and the back of the pelvis. Now, the muscles on the front and the back of the pelvis you spend all day long using to hold in your pee and your poo, right? And there's a great deal of strength in those muscles that if you squeeze them, right, you can get a great deal of a burst of sound or a burst of breath pressure to help you send sound farther without having to yell from up here, hey, right? Hey! I can get two very different sounds. Those are probably very loud for you. So the 4 points of breath posture are: the crown of your head is the highest point. The chin is level with the floor, the chest is expanded, and the feet are shoulder width apart. Every time you get up in front of a group or in our group sessions and you're standing, I'm going to want to see, and your group mates are going to want to see, this stance, the proper breath stance.